So, so fairly soon after that experience in September at the restaurant, I got on that tram right there. Not that exact tram, maybe it was. Um, and this was around the time that symbols were significant to me. So around this period, symbols, numbers, and then shortly after license plates, but also tattoos, signs, just everything started to resonate with me in a unprecedented way. And so I got on that tram heading up to the restaurant. It was pretty sure it was a Friday evening, which is I just can't. Yeah, that was when I first went there. It was a Friday evening, and that kind of became a pattern. And I'll talk about that later. But like symbols like the ampersand, which is in the name of the restaurant that I ate at, became significant. But I was sitting on that tram that time, and I looked down ahead of me after a guy got on, and on his shoe was a symbol that is part of the logo of that restaurant. And it just really strongly resonated with me because the experience had just been so close prior. And I ended up speaking to him and asking him why he'd drawn those on his shoes. And he said he was just stuffing around and just decided to do it, to leave them on there. And then he said he had an exhibition on at the end of the year, and invited me to it. And I think he gave me his Instagram, and then I followed him, and then things occurred from there. But things happened in between as well. But yeah, that was a significant meeting. Okay, so after seeing that artist on the tram, about a couple of months had passed, and so it was the exhibition. I think started at like 6 p.m. on a Friday, and so I was somewhere in the city or doing something a bit away, and so I needed to get on a tram across the road there, and it was around peak hour, and so the tram was packed, and so I got on the tram and I found myself pretty much pinned against like the side of the tram, and it was really crowded, and a guy was holding on to the one of the handles that dangle from the roof to steady himself, and he was speaking on a mobile phone at the same time. But it was the strangest positioning he was in, that he was forced to be in because of the crowded tram. And so the underside of his forearm was like an inch from my face, and he had a massive tattoo on the underside of his forearm. And the underside of the forearm is not a part of the arm, I guess, that you would typically see, and definitely not on public transport. It's something that I think you'd see if you knew someone and spent a bit of time with them, or was sitting across the table from them. And on the tattoo was a massive. Hang on, I'm just going to move. On the tattoo was a massive clock, like an old style timepiece, and it had the time 11:24 or 11:25. For some reason, I just can't remember whether it was 11:24 or 11:25, but it was definitely one of those two times. And I found that really curious, and especially because it was around the time when numbers were of a special significance, and tattoos. So the combination of those two things, and what I'd been doing previously with tattoos especially, I'd just ask people like the significance of the tattoo if I could. But with this guy, because he was on the phone, and he got off like a few seconds after he finished the phone call, I wasn't able to actually ask him what the significance of that time was for him. But anyway, I then got off the tram, went home, got ready, and then walked over to a tram line along the main cemetery in my part of the city. Okay, so I got on a tram just here, which is across the road from the entrance of the main cemetery in the area that I live in. And I've just noticed like there's a 33 over there, a 56 here, and an 11 directly across the road. And I didn't realize those numbers at the time, but they're all like different things. That's like a headstone number. That's something to do with like the trams or something to do with that. And the 33 is just like a tag on a bar. Anyhow, I've seen that's the fourth 33 that I've seen like in the last few hours, all in different ways. Anyway, so I got on the tram here, and I was thinking at the time, because it was a Friday, that whether I should go to the restaurant where that experience occurred after the art exhibition. And there was a guy who arrived at the tram stop at the same time as me. Anyway, the tram arrived. I got on the back door because that's what arrived pretty much right next to me. And as soon as I got on, there was a mother with her daughter in a pram, or a baby in a pram, and she had her back facing me, and she had the one of the hoodies of that restaurant, and it was literally just like staring at my face like a foot away as soon as I got on that tram. So I thought, okay, that's a sign. And so we're moving along, and it's kind of peak hour on a Friday, so things are moving slowly. And the woman with the pram got off, and the tram gradually cleared, and then I got to where I needed to walk over to the exhibition. And that guy who got on the tram at the same time as me, he got off, I think it was the tram stop before me, and I hadn't sat down, I was just standing because it allowed me to get a better view of because it was still fairly, like, I hadn't been up that route in a long time. And so I was just standing by the door, and he walked up from his seat to get out the door, and he's grabbing like the bar, kind of like that. And so, and he's right next to me. And so the way that he grabbed the bar with his left hand meant that his watch face was showing directly at me, like a couple of feet away from me. And anyway, I just happened to look down at his watch face, and it had the exact same time as the tattoo from the tram earlier. And I asked him, excuse me, why is your watch at 11:24, 11:25? Obviously it was like 5:30 p.m. or something on a Friday. And he said, a while back my watch stopped at this time, and I just haven't bothered changing it. I still wear it. And it was so curious. And I said, that's really weird, because I told him about the tattoo, and he said, oh, this number is meant to signify, I think something good's going to happen to you because this is a good number or a good time, something like that. But it was literally the exact same time. So either 11:24 or 11:25. Anyway, so then I got off the tram and walked over to the exhibition. Okay, so after I attended the exhibition of that artist up that way, I then walked further down this street and caught the tram over there, and literally crossed paths as I'm crossing the road at the exact time with the woman who appeared while I was reading that Tom Robbins book, sitting on that bench, and like the sun was shining directly behind her head. And then I got on the tram, and then further, I guess, synchronicity happened travelling onward. So I got off this stop in the city, and to walk across to that restaurant, given the signs that encouraged me to do so. And I looked up at this building here, and you might be able to see it, but this was around the time, as I've mentioned, that and symbols and numbers were important, and so those symbols look like both butterflies and two number 8s, like side by side. And this is the time when I was seeing repeat numbers, including repeat 8s, and not only butterfly symbolism in terms of tattoos, clothing, the word, but also actual butterflies. And they would, the timing, again, it's the timing, perfect timing that would resonate with my thinking, whether it be to reassure me of something or to just to reaffirm something that I was thinking. I don't have an exact example now, but they continue to occur, so I'm sure if you ever ask me, I'll be able to share one with you. Okay, so this might not resonate with you, which is totally fine. It might seem a bit silly, but at the time when numbers became very meaningful to me, I encountered one of these like dumpster bins in the area where I live, and these reflective things, I don't know why they are in that kind of upside down L shape, but I encountered a bin at that time where someone had done a number of them the wrong way. So basically it all looked like the number 7, and so that was particularly resonant because I was seeing a lot of repeat numbers, including 7, around that time, and subsequent to that there were a lot more. But of particular note is that I've never seen a bin like that prior or since. No, I've never seen one where the reflectors have been put on inaccurately. So there's that. Okay, so one morning after doing some art, I came down to this, I guess, CBD dock area, and this was after numbers became significant, and that that large bin that I was talking about had been resonant, and so I came walking down here. It just felt right to walk down here, and you'll see over there across the water is the building for the Channel 7 TV station, and so there are 4 7s across there. So given the prominence of 7 at that time, that was striking. Well, prior to arriving back in Melbourne, I'd never walked this way, and then the Sea Shepherd ship was down there as well, and I've never seen that since, parked there. And the guy came out as I was walking past, and I got to ask him a question that I'd been thinking about over the previous kind of couple of weeks about Steve Irwin, and then Sea Shepherd became a recurring synchronicity in terms of seeing it on car bumper stickers, people's clothing at particular times, and being at the exact angle to see those. But then the morning got more interesting. Okay, so I hope that you can hear me, but after walking down through that dock area and seeing all those repeat 7s and the Sea Shepherd boat, I got some food and sat down here without really looking where I was, and I looked up midway and I saw that I was directly in line with a huge number 56 across the road. You probably won't be able to make it out, but it was just uncanny because I was in direct alignment with it, and the way I saw it was the sliding doors opened so that I saw the 56 like straight ahead, no angle whatsoever. But then the lights turned red and a van pulled up just there, and it had the number 56 on it. So the way it parked meant that I could see both the sign 56, and then literally like 2 seconds later the van pulled up and the 56 was aligned so that they were pretty much next to each other in my sight line, and the word next to the 56 on the van was Finn, Finn. Okay, so after that encounter with the two 56s, I then got on a tram to go to the library to look up the name, the word Finn. I didn't have a smartphone at that time, and the tram goes along this street here, and the tram is number 11, and it was amazing because I was checking the time on like the displays on the ticket machines that are in the tram, and there's 4 of them. So whenever you see numbers on those, obviously the time, it's repeated 4 times, and the clock changed to 8:56 at the exact time that the tram passed that restaurant where I had the September life-changing experience. The timing was uncanny, and then I went to the library. Okay, so after I saw the two 56s aligned and then the name Finn next to the second 56, I decided to come to the library here to research a little. And it was at a time when, I realise now that words, names, symbols aren't necessarily meaningful beyond kind of just a sign from the universe, if you like. And but at that time, it was fairly shortly after September, I can't remember exactly when, it felt important to take a look. I'd seen the name Finn previously and more so subsequent, but at that time it immediately reminded me of a musical artist with the name Finn, a more lesser known one than probably the one that comes to mind. And so I did a quick bit of research, and like immediately upon searching the name, one of the songs of the artist had words in the title that were that feature prominently in the brand that I then launched, Inward Markings. And so it's this incredible kind of connectedness, and it made me feel reassured regarding what I was doing with the brand. So yeah, the numbers, then the name, then the artist, then the song and its connection to the brand. So yeah, a lot went on and continues to.